come down and be with you. There's a aliveness here, and there's a joy, and there's a relationship here relating that is very powerful, and I appreciate coming into that energy. And I'm assuming that you appreciate coming into that energy too, because you come into this energy regularly. So the topic I'm going to talk about today is saying yes to life. And it actually came out of a personal experience I want to share with you. I read the book, The Art of Racing in the Rain, a number of years ago. So when it came out as a movie, I got really excited to see it as a movie. And I wanted to go on bargain night dollars. And so I arranged my schedule so that I could do that. And I went on bargain night. I went by myself. And I walked into the theater having paid my $5, gratefully paying my $5. And I looked at the concessions. And the popcorn was $7.50, and the drink was $5. And I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay that much money. I got a little bit indignant, I have to tell you. I only paid $5 for a movie, so what am I doing paying this much money for popcorn and a bottle of water? So this is what's going on in my head. And I watched the movie, I loved the movie, and I left. And as I was thinking about it, I thought, wow, I got myself very contracted with life. Because here life was offering this beautiful experience of a movie that I thought was well made, based on a book that I thought was well written. So across a number of years now, I've had this beautiful experience with both the author and now the producers of the movie. And yet I was the one in the midst of this beautiful experience to contract myself around $5 and not wanting to spend more than that. So I was sharing this with somebody and I was talking about it, but as I was talking about it, I started to recognize and realize that the very next day, we have a new cat, I went to take the new cat to the vet for the new cat visit to establish patient, and the vet handed me 2 applications of flea treatment. So that's about $50. So I got contracted over spending $5, and what the universe did through another person was hand me this flea treatment. So then from the vet, I go through the drive-through at Starbucks because I love their iced tea. And I don't quite know what happened, but I ordered 2 iced teas, and I don't know what the cashier did, but something happened that my teas were free. So here I've received, within an hour, 2 different things, this flea medication for my cat and iced tea. So I'm going through my day and I'm grateful for those things, and it's slowly connecting up with me that I'd been given a gift, even in the midst of being contracted around finances. And it wasn't even spending the money, I just got myself tied in a knot. The next thing that happened is a friend was coming into town, and I had offered that she wanted to see somebody in the hospital. And I was teaching a class that night, and my partner Mindy picked up the phone because she recognized the name on my telephone. And we got invited to dinner. We were like happy to go to dinner with these folks. So here's another gift. And then they paid for our dinner. So I got myself contracted. I got myself caught up in a dollar amount in the movie theater. And yet, what came back to me was prosperity, prosperity, prosperity. Abundance flowed back to me the very next day. Now, I have to tell you, I grew up Southern Baptist. So when you do something in the Southern Baptist culture, usually there's a level of punishment. But what I noticed, and it took me, I have to be honest with you, it took me a little time to notice that I got contracted, but what came back was not punishment. What came back was abundance, was a recognition of abundance. I was willing to see it. Now, it took me a little bit, but I was willing to see that abundance. And I started to think about it, and I recognized that that's what occurs anytime that we say yes to life, that abundance returns to us in some form. Now, life metaphysically is energy. It's energy, but it doesn't have a direction. Light is what directs us metaphysically. So we have life, which is simply energy with no direction. We have light, which is spiritual intelligence. And we have love, which is the master healer. So when we merge the three and begin to live from our hearts, and we merge life and light and the love that we are, that's our divine nature, then as we move through life, we have an opportunity to say yes to life. And life brings back to us abundance of life. We just have to be willing to open our hearts and open our minds to see that abundance. And we have to be willing at sometimes to laugh at ourselves because we're going to get contracted. We're going to get ourselves up. You know, you've heard the expression, the Southern expression, we're going to get our knickers in a knot. We're going to get ourselves tied up here and there because some old belief is going to come in. And that's exactly what happened with me. An old belief came in. Well, you shouldn't spend money on popcorn for $7.50 when you can buy Pop Secret or whatever kind you buy at the grocery store for $3 and have plenty of popcorn. So that's what's floating in my mind. And I had to really track that back a little bit and look at it. Where did that come from? And that came from my mom telling us that if we were going to the movies, we had to pop the popcorn beforehand because it was so expensive. And then to take it with us, you know, and you have to hide it in a bag because you're not supposed to carry it. So there's an integrity breach right there. But it took 60 years for that to come forward. But the beautiful thing is that belief came forward. And I could have an opportunity to examine it and to look at it. And when we're saying yes to life, life will give us, the universe, which is metaphysically all that is, the universe will give us opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to explore our old belief systems, to look at them. Now we have also a choice. We can get really upset with ourselves. Relax. I can truly let go. I can know that all is well. There's nothing to worry about because when I get contracted, the universe actually is going to expand to embrace me and show me that there is nothing to worry about. Just show me that all is actually well. If you think about Jonah, Jonah and the whale, God asked Jonah to come into prophecy to the people. And Jonah was like, no way, to Jonah. And Jonah took off, and we know he landed in the belly of a whale. And from that experience, Jonah decided from circumstance. So the first was the verbal, all is well. Jonah, would you go and speak to my people? Jonah said, no way. I'm going over here. And lands in the belly of the whale. So the second piece was circumstance. The same thing as Jonah happened to me. I know, and I hear regularly, and yet what occurred was here's this beautiful gift that came to me through the various ways that the divine can return to us, through the veterinary. You know, there was no reason for him other than kindness and his gratitude that I was now bringing my new cat to him for services. And then Starbucks, who for whatever happened in their transaction was willing to Starbucks, I'm going to show you abundance. And then thirdly, God acting through friends, saying, here, we're in gratitude for a place to stay, and here's something we're giving back. So when we are open to receiving, then will receive. So when we're open to life, we'll be open to receiving. And life has lots of synchronicities for us. You know, you can be thinking about somebody and the phone will ring. We can be thinking about an idea and we turn on the radio and there's a song that's playing that very thing. Or we can be doing something in our regular life, just what we do regularly, and something will come forth. I was in Chapel Hill a couple of months ago and I was teaching a class, and it was healing and wholeness, which is one of the spiritual education and enrichment classes for Unity. So I'm teaching this class and I want them to have an experience of healing, since this is a healing class. And what I did was I started teaching them how to do reconnective. There's a class next door on Hebrew scriptures, and unbeknownst to me, they're talking about blessings. So I'm teaching about healing, and this classroom is, the teacher is talking about blessings. And as we started the healing, we're going to do it for 5 minutes. As we started the healing, suddenly this beautiful music, "May the Lord bless you and keep you," starts playing. It was a wonderful version. And can you imagine how long it played? It played exactly 5 minutes. When we're open to receiving life, life will be there for us. And when we combine it, life needs the direction of light. So when we combine it with our spiritual intelligence, when we're being the light of the world that we're called to be, then it unfolds perfectly and it unfolds beautifully. There's an author, Paulo Coelho. He says that what we really need to do is learn how to let go of all. As we do that, and as we begin to look at, identify the beliefs and decide, is this still me? Is needing to take popcorn to a movie theater and sneak it in and be out of integrity still who I want to be? Or am I willing to trust the messages and then pay for the popcorn? Well, I have to tell you later, somebody said, you know, the popcorn's on special too, so you really missed out. But it was a great lesson and the perfect one for me because it was not harsh. Our lessons can be simple and easy. They can be something that delight us. They can actually be something that make us laugh, so that when we tell the story, other people go, "Oh yeah, I get in that contraction too sometimes." And all I have to remember is to open up and open up my heart. Life calls us to change and calls us to change regularly. And I believe that the biggest difficulty with change is the very first time we do something different. The very first time we do something different. But once we've done it differently, then it's easy to do it differently again. And it's easy to do it differently again and again. So I'm looking forward to the next Tuesday that I go to the bargain movie night. I don't go to a lot of movies, but when I do, I like to go on Tuesday nights just for that reason, because it feels there's something delightful about the very fact that they have it. I'm looking forward to being open to popcorn and a drink. I'm looking forward to be open to all that is, knowing that, as I receive, I'm also being called to give. So sometimes we don't think about the receiving part. The Buddha says if we're not open to receiving, that we're not actually in the process of giving when we give. That it must be that circulation, what we in Unity would call the law of circulation. As we give, we have to also open our arms to say yes to life, to receiving. And it doesn't always come back one-to-one correspondence. But what it does come back is through different people in different places for us. It's that person that we don't know that sends over a dessert while we're having a meal. It's the friend who says, "Let me buy you your meal." It's the ways in which beauty comes toward us or kindness comes toward us. It might simply be a smile, but when we are open to saying yes to life, yes to the energy that is all around us, then that energy will come. Let's affirm I am open-heartedly courageous to say yes to life. So that's a lot. I'll say it again. I am open-heartedly courageous to saying yes to life. Together, I am open-heartedly courageous to say yes to life. When we are willing, when we are open, when we get committed to saying yes to life, life will wrap its arms around us in a variety of ways. Our job, our task, I believe, is simple to say what good is going to come out of today. And when we do that from that energy of the heart, that visible center of an invisible energy, because love oftentimes feels invisible, yet we make it tangible through our actions. We make it tangible in our interactions with each other, and we make it tangible in the way we move through life. Because as we open our hearts, we're radiating love at least 3 feet around us, and that has taught us. And when we're open to love, we're open to life. And then when we use our love and our life intelligently through spiritual intelligence, then we open to a new level of abundance in all ways in our lives. I'm open-heartedly courageous. Say that again with me. I am open-heartedly courageous, and I'm willing to say yes to life. And I'm willing to say yes to life. Let's take that into meditation. I'm going to, like David did, ask you to put your hand on your heart. Because what this does is it reminds us of our heart center. Imagine joy. Imagine love. Imagine what that feels like in this moment. And then bring it forward so it moves from imagination to experience. Joy and love lie